I don't wanna fight anymore. Just turn around and leave me. The tear in my eye drops on the floor alongside my spear. My knees are drenching in the blood I spill just to get here. When I look around me, everything I had went up in flames. My lonely way.
Hello and welcome on in. We got a night of Deadlock coming your way. Welcome to First Strike 5 Strikemania. I'm Leaf and I'm chilling with Simo tonight as we get underway with two teams that we may have some early thoughts on how this is going to go. We'll talk about in a minute. First, I got to say, Simo, how you doing? And secondly, how's your butt doing? Because that is the craziest seating arrangement I've ever seen.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Listen.
Yeah,
this is not even my final form. One of my favorite standing desks goes to the floor. It's like 3,000 US. Not in the budget right now, but you know, maybe someday we'll get a standing desk that goes to the floor and goes to the ceiling. I don't know. We'll see. But
I was going to say that is possible. Mine actually does go low enough that I could sit in the position you're seated in right now. So yeah, good investment, but you're right. Very costly. But we'll talk about our finances and furniture, home office furniture another time. First, we got to talk about tonight, what we're going to be taking a look at. In a little bit, we'll be getting into bans before we get into gameplay. But for Strikemania 5, $100 on the line for these guys. And of course, an invite to the next one, First Strike 6, License to Strike. I don't know who's thinking of these things, Simo. Is this you? Because I'm going to ban you right now if it's you.
Listen, it just reminds you of like GTA Vice City. You know, it's got some good energy. Right. You know, it's got that like 80s vibe. Like character. We're about to, yeah, it's got character. Where's the neon? That's what I'm missing. Where's the neon? That's what we need right now.
No, I love it. Let's talk about the teams that we're going to be witnessing tonight, because both these teams have been around the scene, you know, as the community tournaments keep popping off throughout the week, every week. And Hydranation and Llama Lords. One in particular may have a little more, I guess, gusto behind them than the other, but that being Hydranation. But Llama Lords, of course, being a team that has been, I believe, one of the only ones that have been able to take a game off Hydranation. So we're looking to see if they can do that again. There's some history with these two teams. What's your thoughts right off the bat, though? I mean, looking at Hydranation, Llama Lords, maybe some early anticipation, what you're thinking of this matchup, and maybe what you're excited for.
Well, you know, Hydranation is really no slouch to the Deadlock scene. I mean, 9 straight wins in Deadlock Fight Night for North America. Like, you know, it's a tough opponent if you're Llama Lords, to be quite honest. But, you know, on the side of Llama Lords, you've got Young Calc, who's the only name that I recognize, fortunately for myself, being from Fortnite Competitive. So making the transition over to Deadlock. But the rest of his team, you know, I've heard a little bit about maybe some roster shuffles coming in for Llama Lords, some players in and out. But, I mean, listen, at this point, with Hydranation being so prominent, so, you know, powerful in their ability to maintain this run, this deep run in North America, it's probably only a matter of time once Deadlock has got a open for everybody, and maybe somebody will dethrone them.
Well, we do have a draft already underway. Honestly, happening a lot quicker than I thought it would be. This is fun. We're starting off with. Let me get that on my screen right here. Bands. Do you have any early thoughts on what you'd expect to see? Because this is what I expected off the bat. I presumed there'd be a Vindicta ban immediately.
Yeah, a lot has changed in the past couple of months. Prior to Christmas, I don't know what happened over Christmas, to be honest, but we were seeing Viscous bans, Dynamo bans, maybe even Mo and Krill. And, a lot of the tanks we're seeing in kind of some first pick spots. But, I mean, we do see the Viscous end up in the second pick. But still, nevertheless, we've got 3 DPS right out the gate. Shiv, Mirage, and Warden, which is not something that I expect. But Warden is a highly contested player, regardless if he's second or third pick. But still, it does come to me as a shock that we're not really prioritizing tankier characters anymore, maybe leaving them to later in the draw.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just, DPS is king now.
Yeah, well, I mean, because DPS did see a bit of a pullback as well, because we saw just, you saw it with a few characters just dominating the meta for a bit, but it still is pretty much king. I mean, I'm not extremely surprised to see the Shiv. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Lefa on the side of Hydranation. I mean, he tends towards, again, those DPS characters. I'm not entirely surprised overall. The history of these two teams, I'm guessing, I don't know if I can see if that's Hydranation on that side. I'm guessing they're going to want to go DPS. They're going to want to just be able to steamroll that latter half of the game. I mean, the last time these two teams faced off, it was a 2-0 in favor of Hydranation, and they were quick games too, relatively 25 minutes and 26 minutes. So I think they want to kind of probably continue that trend if they can just get those early souls and steamroll that latter half of the game.
I really like this Kelvin ban coming out
Absolutely.
on the side of Young Calc. I guess that's Llama Lords. You want Lash to be successful, you got to get Kelvin out of the picture. He's going to pop that dome, and then Lash has no ability to really make a fight impactful. Not to mention, now you pick up the Abrams. You've got this like rag and tag team of Lash and Abrams.
Yep.
You've got a crazy front line, and Warden can pop in there, pop that last stand. Like, this comp is looking pretty scary right now from a frontline perspective. We'll see if they've got some range that they can add. A lot of things are starting to be taken off the table for the side of Llama Lord. So you've got this great front line, but are you going to have range? That's really my next question.
The interesting thing I'm seeing too is because from games I've just, obviously a lot can change, but I've seen Naked end up playing Kelvin a lot like a main that quite often. So the fact that ban comes from their side, still a little interesting. I mean, obviously they're looking towards that Lash. As you said, they don't want the Kelvin being picked up on the other side, on Hydranation side. But Young Calc tends to be on, liking that frontline initiator style with the Abrams. So you're right, that very well could be good for this squad. And now we see Simo, great Talon on the other side for Hydranation.
They've got so much range on the side of Hydranation. Yeah. Viscous, keeping players at bay and just causing mayhem, and you've got great range with Wraith and great Talon, and now you've got a frontliner who can go pretty much invincible once things start to go in pandemonium. I was kind of questioning who's going to be a little bit more of a front line here for the side of Hydranation, and they've got a great start. Really, I mean, Yamato's not really like the tankiest frontliner, but that ult really allows him to play in that role if need be. And then being partnered up with the Viscous, it's going to be, I'm really interested to see now with this last pick, what do Llama Lords, answer back for?
Yeah, no, they're getting the characters that again that they want. I mean, I expect them to pull out a little more DPS to try to round things out. I mean, they got the Mirage at the top there, especially with the changes to the Scarab not too long ago, was really makes that character a strong player throughout the game now, honestly. But I would expect maybe a little more damage up front, maybe some gun if we're gonna see it. But no, another backliner here, McGinnis. I mean, there could be some strong gun from that too, a lot of gun, but definitely not that upfront in your face.
It takes a while to get rolling for McGinnis, and if you're not feeding her souls, like, you're just a wall bot.
Which you're probably not, too, right? I mean, this is you're looking to play again more of that backline, that support, trying to make sure that your initiators, anyone diving in, is has the best advantage. So yeah, it's interesting that there's a lot more gun on one side of the screen than the other.
Yeah, I mean, like Hydranation looks scary, right? They've got great range. Lady Geist is going to be a great pickup, I think, for Llama Lords.
Okay.
Want to know why? Because Lady Geist has that health swap, and if you're losing bad to Hydranation, at least you have an out. At least you have an ability to maybe change the tides of the fight.
Yeah.
Lady Geist is like your insurance policy for what could go wrong here up against Hydranation.
I was going to say, or they don't have their Christmas skins, but I don't think that works in privates anyway. So
yeah, probably not. Probably not.
That was funny. That was a tricky one. You got to push it to the limits. But yeah, the comp is definitely. I'm not surprised what I'm seeing from the side of Hydranation. In all honesty, I mean, they love to pull out goo as much as possible. We've seen Wraith, both Wraith and Shiv with Lefa plenty of times before. We've seen the great Talon from them. So not super surprising. I love the goo as that support as well, being able to disrupt with some of that CC, the punches, also that last second bailout with Cube, all praise the Cube. But I like the lineup that I'm seeing, and draft wise, anything can happen. I find Deadlock, at least in my experience, to be a pretty, like, any character can really pop off. But overall, the comp, I don't know about your thoughts, but overall, the comp for me on Hydranation feels like it's got that steamrolly chance.
Yeah, it does. I've been kind of watching. I have a lot of thoughts about Grey Talon. Like, I feel like compared to Wraith, Wraith has so much solid DPS output. Like, it is insane. Like, Wraith might be one of the best DPS in the game, period. And you have the best escape in the game, period. Whereas Grey Talon, I mean, look at the guy. He's old, and he is slow. Like, he doesn't have a lot of mobility. He gets up in the air, and he's really easy to target. However, on the side of Llama Lords, they don't really have a lot of great options to target him. Like, they don't have, like, like the Overwatch equivalent of a hit scan to deal with the Pharah, so to speak, in this way. Grey Talon's going to go up, and he's going to have, maybe not. That's really not where his most damage shines. It's really the ultimate, that owl, that bird that comes out, just consistently spamming it throughout fights or chipping away at them as they're pushing down waves and lanes and so on. But he's not going to be the main damage output of this roster. And I always kind of question, when Grey Talon is in a roster, like, what is he bringing to the table that somebody else could not? That's always my question when I see Grey Talon, because I don't think his kit is like that great compared to like what else could be picked.
I do like the just the disrupt abilities too now, with the changes to his trap, is just being able to have some of that little extra just silencing ability is nice. And you, especially without a Vindicta on the other side, you can keep your distance and you can land a lot of damage. But again, you're building a little bit later. That's why I said this is kind of like that late roll kind of game, and especially with, look at these frontliners here with this season in Warden, in Abrams. You have these characters that you can stay away from if you pick your lane properly, and you get that matchup right. We'll see how those come in at the beginning, but yeah, it's there, and maybe it's just a flex as well. Hydranation saying that, hey, we can do what we want against you guys. But I like that. I kind of, now looking at it, like the game plan a little bit. What I'm seeing from these the other side, from Llama Lords, the fact that they're trying to just get in the fight with as much CC as possible. Again, with the Abrams and the Warden, with the Geist, you know what you're up against. Give yourself that option, that out if you really need it. And I think you have to play to your strengths. If you know you're probably going to be rolled a little bit when it comes to DPS, give yourself that chance, that instant flip that you can have. And again, you look at the combo potentials here as well with Haze, Lash, and with the CCs involved. If you can get one person out in a fight very quickly with those CCs, and then you go into some of those combos with like Lash and Haze, you could potentially start turning the tides of some of these fights. So I can kind of see where the logic's coming from.
Yeah, it's really going to be a battle of the execution for Llama Lords. Like, their comp really relies on making sure that they can execute properly, making sure that they can layer CC if that's the game plan. If you want to get Haze to pop off with an ult, if you want Warden to get some consistent damage, whatever. But it's going to be, can you execute? That's the big question.
And I do want to mention too, what we did see initially was the correct thing, and then I believe it swapped there. So the McGinnis and Geist picks ended up being a mistake. I think the website was a little bit bugged. So actually, I'm also seeing an Ivy on the field.
Oh my God. Okay, well, that can really change things quite a bit compared to what we were seeing before. So. Yeah, the Ivy is something that is incredibly useful as a support. I would take her over McGinnis any day of the week. You just have so much more mobility. You could bring, players around the map. As we see already, first blood from Lefa taking out the Abrams.
And that's the thing too. It's Lefa. I was talking about Lefa potentially being on the Shiv, but the Shiv's not there. The Shiv is there, but the other one was the Wraith that I thought it would be on, but it's Yamato that he's decided to go with, and I'm not opposed to this. I mean, like, this is again another one of your ADCs. Get in there and start getting those kills and steamroll by the end of it. And an early pick like that's going to help a little bit. It's not the be all end all, but it definitely is indicative of what maybe to expect.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit of a tough lane for Abrams as now he goes back into the fray. He wants to get that revenge onto Lefa. It's close, down to 100, and he will answer back.
Yeah, that is all in. But I mean, with Abrams, you kind of got to have the guts to be able to do something like that. If you can catch that Yamato creeping up a little bit far there, you like to see the answer back. You want to see this be a close series.
Yeah, especially when you're up against Hydranation. You don't want to give them too much. So having that answer back is going to be great as we look over towards another lane. We have great Talon and Viscus over here. An interesting matchup against McGinnis and Lash. But, melee with supports on the side. You're going to feel good about that.
No, this is a big thing for Lash right now. Just try to get that soul advantage. Keep your distance from the Warden. Be able to ping some damage. I like the positioning up there. Just holding back Hydranation as much as possible on that lane if you can. It's going to be real important to make sure you're going for those soul confirms and steals if you can, and nabbing your farm immediately, which all these guys are going to be super smart at doing early game. But yeah, it's not losing that soul advantage in the laning phase is a key point here for Llama Lords.
Now it looks like we see a little bit of an engagement towards Broadway. Viscus in a little bit of trouble, and you can see great Talon and Viscus so damn low as Lash and McGinnis already pressuring that lane so well, down to just 100 HP. They're trying to get those souls like you talked about, but they are just being pushed out completely. A little bit of a punch, but again, this is just chip damage. There's really not going to be enough to capitalize on here, especially with how low they are.
No, I like to see that aggression right now. I mean, that's what you're going to have from a Lash. I mean, that Lash can kind of sneak up on you, and there is going to be a kill there, actually, as Vegas goes down. There's that great Talon, your favorite. That's why you pick him, so you can give those early feeds, right?
Yeah. So unfortunate for them, though. But, I mean, look, listen, it's honestly a pretty good back and forth if you're up against and worried about Hydranation. They've got a little bit of a soul lead, just marginal. But that's enough to get something cooking, to get something rolling. And that's what you would hope for Llama Lords.
Yeah, big thing I'm watching especially is we just saw it there too, is the Yamato Abrams matchup. I mean, making sure that soul count stays close to that. Abrams doesn't want to allow that Yamato to creep ahead too far because she becomes a lot of trouble for the rest of Abrams' team down the road if he doesn't keep that under wraps.
Almost an engage onto great Talon, but he manages to sneak away from that Lash, so that's got to feel good. Also wanted to mention, as you're talking about leads, pretty good lead for Lady Geist against Wraith. I kind of expected Wraith to be such a solid farmer in the solo lane, but Lady Geist is holding her own, and I kind of I'm a little bit surprised to see that, but now as we see a gank from McGinnis, the barrage coming out, trying to capitalize onto the Yamato.
Oh.
But it's a trade! No, that's not what you want to happen.
No. I mean, better than losing, but absolutely, when you come in with that ult, you're hoping that turns into an advantage for you. I mean, that's such a great gank there, too. It's such a great combo, in my opinion, with that Abrams on that, because it's such a good zoning ability too. I mean, even if you're not landing damage, you're forcing that Yamato into a position that the Abrams can just kind of pinpoint and try to target. But yeah, the trade, as you said, not what they were looking for.
Ooh, the Lash getting a little bit of movement onto the great Talon, and look, listen, this is what I'm talking about. What can he do there? Nothing. What's he gonna do? Throw down a little trap? No, too much CC for him to handle, and he gets taken out easily.
Lash got a bit of that staying power too. With the whip, you can just stay up in your face. And I like to see this. I would question sometimes is, did we get the names swapped? The way this early game is going right now for Llama Lords is they're holding their own and honestly coming in with a pretty good game plan. I mean, they're supporting each other's adjacent lanes really well. You saw it lane 3 with that Lash doing a really good job of keeping that pressure up and making sure that Hydranation is not getting ahead and, in fact, falling behind.
Yeah, you've got most of your souls onto the side of the Shiv and the Ivy, which is where you would want the Yamato, who we're looking at right now, just trying to get away for dear life. But, that's what we highlighted, Hydranation and Lefa, or maybe in a conversation off stream that they are kind of players to look out for. But Lefa's in a little bit of a tough spot, and maybe that's Llama Lord's answering, constantly providing the McGinnis to come over, provide some pressure, and really try to slow down Yamato getting some speed.
Yeah. No, absolutely. As I said, that's the character you want to keep low souls. I was actually about to ask, I mean, do we see Yamato start trying to roam a little bit and pick up some farm? And that's exactly what's happening. Goo's there to support, make sure that Yamato can try to catch back up, because they're probably relying on her very heavily for the end there. And this Geist is doing such a good job of holding down this lane while she does that.
Ooh, some Warden damage to start. Not really a Warden yet, but that's going to feel good for McGinnis. But yeah, I agree with you about the Lady Geist as we see an engagement here. Shadow transformation coming through, and yeah, I'm going to back away from that one. Don't want that Warden damage for free. But slow and steady. Lefa's trying to get caught back up.
Yeah, name of the game there for Yamato is get caught up. No need to force any risky engagements and fights. And there you see it, the swap down to mid to help out the Ivy, who's still dealing with that Soul Lash over there, and Abrams chasing down little gold Goo. And Goo's gonna go down, and that's gonna be a Guardian as well for Llama Lords.
Ooh, look at that. That movement was crazy, but unfortunately not enough as McGinnis tries to finish off that Warden. Off towards another lane, a quick trade. Vegas takes out Warden, so great Talon's coming online. Abrams buys some time for the McGinnis to take down the Warden, but it's not going to be enough for his own life, as we see now an engagement towards the opposite side. And yeah, you're not going to get Viscous when he's rolling around like that, but still, things are looking good.
So I was also going to say, if you had someone there, that's not a place you want to be with the ball rolling around. I've been caught in some pretty disastrous corridors with that thing, and yeah, avoid that at all costs. But thankfully the room was big enough and no support for the Goo ball, and they'll be able to roll back out to their lanes.
Look at this confidence from Llama Lords. Like, this is not what I think we predicted heading into this matchup.
No, not at all.
Like, this Abrams is so comfortable in the face of Wraith. Okay, mind you, yes, he had Lady Geist there to kind of provide some backup, but he really didn't have any fear in his bones. As we see now an engagement towards another lane, it's Hydranation. Finally, they've got somebody that they want to bring some shutdown potential onto. Lash gonna shift focus, try to get two of them. There's the knockdown. No Shiv in sight, and he will be executed.
Yeah, that's the problem. I like the game plan. You go in, you pull out that great Talon, try to get him a little too comfortable with the fight, ult him backwards. But yeah, with no support, he's going to lose that out too. And another fight ongoing here. The Yamato going to shut down this Mirage. Good little pick there for them. And That's going to clean things up. They had a 3k soul disadvantage, and that is wiped out immediately as Hydranation seems to just be completely warming up here and turning things around. Simo, this was quite the reversal.
Yeah, it's like we blinked and
It's
somehow, some ways, Hydranation back on top. Maybe if they were successful in those ganks, or if that Lash managed to find the Shiv, they got 2 players knocked up, like it could be a different story. But now across the map, things are moving for Hydranation, and that is just scary. Despite the fact that they've lost the Warden, they're about to lose a second one. I don't think it's something to really be afraid of if you're Hydranation. You're feeling a little bit better than you were 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, couple towers down now. It, as you said, was looking good for you. Things turn around. It's not out of control yet, but you definitely have to keep your head in the game, and a big engagement now. Heading over on our far lane, the first lane, and we are going to get a potential trade out. No, it's not going to happen, though. Abrams goes down, and everyone backs off. Mirage eliminated as well. Hydranation is starting to really pull ahead in momentum.
Yeah, Mirage having to get out of dodge there, looking towards the pressure across the map. Picking up the urn. Yeah. Picking up the urn here is going to be good. McGinnis trying to bring it off to the other side. That's going to be really the biggest contention point, as we're already starting to fight. Shift going in. Finds the Lash. That's going to be, I think, urn secured with the side of Llama Lords.
Yeah, that definitely helps out a lot. I mean, they just gave up, I believe, another tower to secure that. And a Walker, though, almost going down. There it is. Walker going down on the side of Hydranation. 4th lane there, a little bit sneaky. They gave up they got the urn and a Warden. A fight here for Geist is not going to be in her favor. She gets teamed up on. Very rude, but we did have a Talon go down on the side of Hydranation too, so still very close. That Warden is, Simo, absolutely massive for the squad, getting them another flex spot.
Ooh, what a land there from Yamato. Manages to get onto the Lash. He's just trying to get some damage in, but yeah, it's all she wrote for him, as now they're refocusing their attention, but they got to back away. Warden and Mirage hot on their tail. Yamato makes it out, but Viscus, he's deciding that he wants a little bit more. Can't have seconds, Viscus. It's not allowed.
Yeah, great call from Yamato to pull out. I mean, that's not something you want to just get overzealous on. It looked like it could be fine, but we're losing 2 players here. It's the McGinnis and Abrams going down for Llama Lords. It's going to buy a lot of space for Hydranation as they push up that left lane again. They really are going to start wanting to push those walkers soon. This might give them a little bit of an opportunity to pressure that lane.
Yeah, I mean, this game is truly on a knife's edge, right? The advantage has to be for Llama Lords because they do have that Guardian. They just got to open up that last walker, and the map kind of opens up for them, and obviously potentially some flex slots, because Hydranation still don't have a flex slot. We're not that far in the game that it really matters, but, if I'm maxing Spirit or if I'm maxing Vitality or whatever, I want a little bit more room to be able to get a 5th Spirit item or whatever else it is that I need. And right now, Llama Lords are in a position to do that because they have the extra Guardian to boot. It's great Talon. Just trying to get away here. I don't think he's going to get away.
No, it's a valiant effort, but look where he brought the Lash right into the midst of a potential team fight and everyone getting engaged. Llama Lords, though, looks like the numbers advantage. Talon down here. We lose Abrams on the side of Llama Lords. Lash in, trying to get some damage. There's Ivy down. And that was big for Llama Lords as the fight still goes on in lane. Get out of there. Shiv trying to stay alive, being chased down. Lash eliminated. Player advantage on the side of Hydranation. Now, Simo.
Yeah, but look, you lost 4 for Llama Lords. 4. That is massive. And Shiv managed to stay alive. This is the player that we got to keep our eye on pretty much the whole game, because he is leading in the pack with souls. Like, he's literally carrying the team on his back at this point. But, a team fight's a team fight, and they did not win it successfully. Now, they're trying to answer back, get some movement, get some souls on the map, but, buddy, we're 6K down. This is slipping away slowly.
But I mean, not completely unanswerable. You know, you get the trade back on the walker as well, and a mid with full team alive. This is an ambitious mid for them. I mean, they're looking, I guess, just happy that Yamato was out of the picture for this, but if Goo gets in there, yeah, this could be problematic if you get... Oh, there's no ball anyway, so you might have a bit of a chance here. It might have been the right call, but right now they steal there for the Rejuvenator, and that's going to be Hydranation and winning the fight. That is, again, as I said, a very, very ambitious mid-call for Llama Lords, and it goes very much not in their favor.
That's game. that's game. I don't know what to tell you. Listen, Vegas, I'm sorry. Okay? I said it. I'm sorry. I talk shit about your great Talon, and then you go in and you steal the Rejuvenator right under the nose of Llama Lords. Like, that's insanity. Not who I would expect to steal the Rejuvenator. An old man running in, but listen, now it is Hydranation feeling good. Yes, Abrams, you can try all you want. You can get Wraith, you can knock her down, take her out, but it's not enough to answer for what happened. It's not
it enough hurts. I mean, again, I want to know where the logic was coming from. Like, I saw, okay, ult's down, you got Yamato out of the picture, you need something, but is it really that drastically lost for you guys that you think a potential mid and giving away Rejuve is worth the opportunity? It does feel like it was quite an interesting call.
Yeah, like that moment alone, I feel like is what we're witnessing is like the nail in the coffin, right? If Llama Lords gets that Rejuvenator, if they wipe up Hydranation, it's GG for Hydranation. You know, like the script just flips to the opposite side, but Hydranation stayed composed. You know, I wonder if it's Llama Lords taking the Rejuvenator and then literally backing out of the room, because they all left for the Rejuvenator to drop down, and I wasn't really sure, like, what, were they afraid of some AoE move?
Yeah, well,
Hydranation doesn't have AoE. They don't have anything to, like, secure all of them down in place, so I don't know.
No, and that was the thing, too, is I was looking for potentially Viscus's ult. Yeah, I mean, that can cause a little bit of disruption, but even that was down. I mean, Talon's trap, like, you're right. There really wasn't much that they needed to be significantly afraid of at that point, which is why I thought maybe they made the call there in the first place. But backing off that hugely and not protecting Rejuve, interesting call overall. You're right. This is such... We looked at the comp early on. I mean, this is going to be a steamroll comp. They're going to be able to start absolutely tearing you down, especially this Yamato by the end of the game. Shiv as well. I mean, you get those two comboing up. Yamato brings you down. Shiv just bang, 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 cuts everyone up. You give him this much of a lead, it really is over.
Yeah, especially with Shiv now feeling probably extremely happy about the position that he's in, but he is being focused a little bit. Now that he's out of the picture, 3v4, a potential possibility if they can keep things alive. Great Talon is doing what he can, but he doesn't really have the space in such close quarters to answer back. Lash still alive. There's the ulti. He's dropping him down. Is it going to be enough to knock one up? He's got the Great Talon, but it's the Wraith with too much damage. And Lady Geist backs away as Hydranation once again clean them up.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that, I mean, at least you get a trade out of that fight too. Rejuve completely used up, and you got a bit more space to breathe, but it's not a lot. Look at how far up these lanes are pushed right now, and how much of that map, the farm that's left on the side of Llama Lords, it's next to nothing. Hydranation's been doing such a good job of cleaning that up that this soul disadvantage is just going to remain a soul disadvantage.
Yeah, and there's really, you know, your moment to come back from this was to take the Rejuvenator. that was your. I mean, that team fight back there was a possibility as well, but of course, Lady Geist just dipped on out of there. Did not even want to deal with it. But another team fight, another opportunity. Shadow transformation here for Yamato as we look over towards where the action is, and
yeah,
it's just Hydranation all day.
Well, you see it a few times, and I feel like this is just the bane of any well, the bane of ranked in general, but the bane of any team that has great communication versus not. We had so many fights, well, not so many, but 1 or 2 fights there that were just not being communicated. And we saw some individual fights happening that weren't like, hey, I got one more hit on this person, then I can join you. It was, they got a full health bar. We should focus this other person at this point. So I think that's the difference maker between Llama Lords and Hydranation, is that the communication, the coordination is just so precise from Hydranation. I mean, they land their shots too. You look at the players, they're all, I mean, essentially former pros from other games, Smite and Overwatch. That they've got that experience of working with each other in a team environment.
Yeah. 9 straight wins for Fight Night, which is, one of the prestigious, I guess, hugs that we have these days, right, for Deadlock, and they are no slouch as it comes to North American competition. And I was it's not like we're Hydranation fanboys. Like, the scene is so young that you can't really be a fanboy of anybody yet, but we were genuinely hoping that Llama Lords were going to put up a good fight, and I think that they have. One little slip up with Rejuvenator is such a great learning moment that, you grow as a team, I would hope, in understanding, like, what are the correct calls to make in those moments. Like, this game is still so young that it's hard to tell what is a correct call and what isn't, depending on what you feel in that moment and what you feel is your strong suit for your team, right?
Hey, there's a world where that mid goes the other way. I mean, it was a call, certainly. And I think there needed to be a little more basis for the call to be executed on. But you don't know until you try these things and
Exactly.
you played these reps a million times over what works and what doesn't. You might find some secret sauce that you can count on next time, too.
Yeah, last team fight potentially here is the man, the myth, the legend, Hydranation with a 3K. Hasn't even used the killing blow. He is just going in raw. Got the Warden left. Is he going to be able to pop that last stand? I can't even tell if it's on. I think he did pop it in that fight. But for the price of 1, we've got the price of 4. So really, really well done here from the side of Hydranation, as they are now in the base, trying to take the base boss. Got a 40K gold lead. It is just nuts here for Hydranation. What a great first game of this best of 3.
Hey, I said GG just a few seconds ago, but I think you were absolutely right in calling the... I hate this. So I am... One of my biggest pet peeves is someone calling GG before it's actually GG. But in this scenario, you, Simo, were pretty much right. I mean, losing that mid-boss was just really the nail in the coffin. It was at a point where they were just starting to fall behind. They wanted something to give themselves an advantage. You lose that. Now that deficit is larger and larger. We went from like a 2K soul difference to a 30K soul deficit in about 5 to 6 minutes. That is an absolutely absurd soul gainage like that. Whatever economy they're in, I'm moving there because that is a fast growing GDP.
Yeah, they're in Puerto Rico or something. I don't know.
I am not an economist. I don't know who's got a good economy.
Yeah, but yeah, let's have a look at some of these stats. And of course, Hydration, it takes no introduction for how well he performs. 17 kills. Like, just absolutely insane. But looking at the rest of the roster, like, the early game prior to what we will call the incident,
That's right.
prior to the incident, we saw ganks from everybody, right? Young Calc was up against Lefa in lane, and we saw NKD on the McGinnis pop over, and then we saw, Lefa try to rotate out, or Flick came over to support him. Like, we saw genuine ganks and genuine lane support, and the game was genuine for 10 minutes. But then, things started to go down.
The big thing, again, I'm looking at is especially people were playing the roles they're supposed to play. I mean, from your Ivy to your Viscous, I mean, those are the players that are backing up your damage dealers. They were getting in with an incredible amount of assists. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And I think that's a key thing for, I mean, all these players know, but a key thing for Hydranation is they have such a good understanding of what they should be doing with each of these characters. They, across all of their games, whether it's this tournament or others, been able to adjust and adapt to different characters regardless of the bans that come in or whatever their opponents pick. If it's a character they wanted, they've adjusted because they know what these characters should be doing and the way they should be playing. And that's maybe that'll change down the road as players get more specialized into very specific playstyles or roles. But at this point, Hydranation just has raw skill. They have so much experience behind these players that have played again in pro levels in other areas, that they can hop into these characters and adapt, shift, and say, I'll play this time, and do it so well that you see it in the stats. It's reflected in the stats there.
Yeah, I mean, there's not even any role queue. Like we don't have anything like that for Deadlock really, and right now it's just assumed that weaker characters will go in a duo lane, right?
Yeah.
To get support from an Ivy, from a Viscous to be able to get through the laning phase.
Right.
But you know, one day there's a world where people just all play DPS and maybe try to win out that way. Like there's so many things that could still be open depending on future heroes and things like that.
Before I go to break, I want to ask you a quick question. Do you think this is maybe a Deadlock thing? Is this potentially what you think Valve's goal is with this? Because as I mentioned before, I'm not much into MOBAs in general, but for some reason, Deadlock's captured my attention quite significantly because I feel like it does feel a little more freeing in my options when I pick a character. I'm not particularly locked down to a certain play style as you are in many other MOBAs. Is this just people figuring it out at this point? Is this my lack of experience in a MOBA, or is this kind of that design philosophy that we're seeing Valve take with this game?
Yeah, well, I think it's more the design philosophy than anything. You know, like
agree.
One thing that I really like about Deadlock is like you're talking. Like I can pick a hero, and there's so many different builds that people have not discovered. Yes, there's like the mainstay builds that your professional players are picking and choosing, but like, what if there's some way to make Shiv more supportive than carry? Like, maybe that might not be the best, but if I have the ability to play that and I'm really good at it, then why not? Like, why not play that? And why not give that a try? Like, these are things that should be explored, and that's a good design philosophy, if you ask me.
I agree, and it's not really surprising. Valve tends to know what they're doing when they're making games, that's for sure. But we do have a more Deadlock to get to in just a little bit. Thank you guys for joining us for that first game there. First Strike 5, Strikemania continues, but we do need to stretch our legs and take a quick little break first.
Let me give it a one last shot. Will I ever get through to you? Oh, am I wasting my time? Should I leave for the night? It's unclear at the moment. Can you give me a sign? I'm here trying and trying. I need 10 more minutes with you. So let me know if you gave up hope. Do I leave you alone or I leave you alone? So let me know if you gave up hope by now. So let me know if you gave up hope. Do I leave you alone or I leave you alone? So let me know if you gave up hope. I need 10 more minutes with you. Yeah, I just wanna go back home. Can't do this anymore. I can't get through to you, so what the fuck am I fighting for? Were all those rumors true? Or were you trying to get a rise out of me? A rise out of me? Or I don't wanna make it all about me again. But I don't even know half the things you said. So let me know if you gave up hope. Do I leave you alone or I leave you alone? So let me know if you gave up hope by now. So let me know if you gave up hope. Do I leave you alone or I leave you alone? So let me know if you gave up hope. I need 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes with you. 10 more minutes, or 10 more minutes. I need 10 more
Welcome back to First Strike 5 Strikemania as we head into the next game. I'm Leaf and Simo is joining me as we watch Hydranation face off against Llama Lords, who started off great in that first game, but then felt one decision utterly turn into disaster, Simo.
Yeah, you know, I was really hoping that Akram on the Lady Geist could turn that positive lane presence that he had against DMB with Wraith and turn that into something. Maybe he could even pop that soul exchange. Most ideal scenario because he's so fed, but you know, it wasn't in the tarot cards, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to see what that will be for this second.
So my question, I guess, I have to you is do you expect a significant change in terms of the bans that we see from Hydranation's side? I expect we might see a potential Yamato ban on the side of the others, but a Shiv does come out first.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it was not really that annoying in the early game. Like, I don't think it, because I mean, Shiv he needs a lot of items to be able to just sustain and have a lot of, like, I guess so to speak, lifesteal. It's not lifesteal, but his kit allows him to like stay alive for quite some time in engagements. So, you know, as they were trying, like, they put so much effort into trying to take him down that it allowed the rest of the team on the side of Hydration to just pick off those members one-on-one. It allowed Yamato to have just a field day when they're throwing like the kitchen sink at Hydration, just try to take him down, and he's just staying up and staying mobile. Like, it allows players like DMB on the Wraith, like Lefa on the Yamato to be able to pop off. But that leaves the Paradox open, which was banned last time by
Vindicta.
Llama Lords, and they first pick it. So very, very smart. But like you said, Vindicta picked on the opposite side.
Yeah, I think this is something that with the Mirage down, they just really just don't want to see the Mirage. Leaving that Paradox open, I think they're confident enough, I guess, at this point that regardless of giving, you know, these players on the side of Llamas their mains or not, I think they're confident. Again, it also gives them that Vindicta pick on the other side that we often see banned by Hydranation, but now that they're on the other side of it, they get to pick her.
Yeah, I mean, Vindicta's really been coming up a little bit more in prominence the past kind of like month or two. Like, we used to see a lot of mainstay like Infernus, Haze, like really up in your face DPS. But now people have been kind of like defaulting back to the Vindicta, and really the Assassinate is an excellent tool to be able to just, you know, it once you get enough items, it can be almost spammable.
It does what
like,
it says it does.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It really is. A Warden as well on the side of Hydranation, which I'm not surprised. We tend to see Hydration play Warden quite often, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's who he was rocking this time. And then a Wraith and a Lash on the other side. Lash, I absolutely agree with. I mean, their Lash obviously coming out with the most kills. I think he had 12 kills for the squad. No one else breaking double digits. I mean, the Lash did a great job, especially in the laning phase for Llamas before. I mean, the pressure that this Lash was causing was really good for the squad. So that is, in my opinion, an absolute let's pick this character for Llamas.
Yeah, I mean, the player, I'm not going to, you know, speak ill of his name, but Dr. Poopus is you're a Lash player. So keep it up, Dr. Poopus. You're doing good. But look, Yamato back in play. That was great for Lefa. It didn't work the greatest in lane. It was a tug and pull, but once Shiv got online, it's almost as if his baby brother, Yamato, also came online at the same time.
Well, there's the Kelvin ban coming out again, which I believe it was actually Llama Lords that banned the Kelvin previously. And again, as long as it's accurate, we know we had a bug last time. But the Kelvin, again, as I said before, there was a main on the other squad on Llama Lords that plays Kelvin this naked, and you want to take that away. Don't give these characters anything they're comfortable with, which is why we saw Paradox removed before for Hydranation taking that out, so Llama Lords couldn't use it before.
Yeah. Abrams taken out. I mean, they were the ones that played Abrams last round in that first map, so maybe it's just something that they don't want to pair up with the Yamato. McGinnis here picked up. You know, I'm seeing a pretty standard comp come out for her Hydranation so far. Nothing's like screaming, you know, out of touch. But what I will say is I feel like they're winning the draft. Like Warden is such a highly contested pick. His last stand is just, you know, as you have all these, you know, heroes that are going into the fray. Yamato, Vindicta's from like Warden. I feel like often gets forgotten in a team fight because he pops last stand and you're just trying to get out of there. You're just trying to survive, and you're not trying to, you know, be hit by the binding word. Like he's such a small little dude that's just running around with a shotgun. I feel like people forget that he's there. Yamato pops this scary ultimate where he becomes the demon, and you're like, okay, I gotta target that guy. That guy looks pretty fucking scary. So for Warden to be able to sneak through in the pick and ban phase, I think that's great for Hydration. Great Talon is our second pick here for Llama Lords.
Yeah, I guess they saw their opponents take them and win. They're like, we'll try it too. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe they just didn't want. Maybe they felt the pressure from him before, and they wanted to give it back there. Bebop generally getting banned as well. We're going to see the Bebop on the other side, and you know, there's a lot of displacement happening right too between Paradox and Bebop. There's a lot of opportunity for them to bring the fight into positions where they're ready for it. Over to where the Lash is maybe too, to make sure that they're. I don't know, you know, if that's their plan. But then we see a Geist and Goo come out as the final two picks. Not surprised again. Viscous tends to be a mainstay for this Hydranation squad. Great amount of potential last second savings with the cube. And again, you have the ability to also displace your opponents a bit with your Goo Fist, knock them back, bring them to you, get them away from you, whatever. And the Geist instead on the other side there for Hydranation.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this Llama Lords composition the second time around. Like I'm sure that they're happy that they got the Bebop, considering it was banned in the first pick and ban rotation. But Hydration's picks were so fast that I feel like they just got everything that they wanted. The Viscous remained untouched the entire draft, and you know, once it got picked up, I was looking at Llama Lords and I'm like, you guys don't really have anything left. Mo and Krill's not been seeing a lot of play recently, and that's
very sad.
You got the short end of the stick. You got to pick the straw, and they got Mo and Krill, and they banned the Abrams, so they can't have their own frontliner. Like, I'm hoping that this Mo and Krill is going to be able to prove me wrong. But if it's not picked in the current meta, like, or in the current, you know, I'm going to call this like little month bubble, this January bubble,
the January meta,
the January meta. If he's not picked, you know, then there might be a reason why. There might be something better that's supposed to be on the table for you guys, but
it could also be, again, just people shifting towards one thing to try something. Okay, everyone's doing this. I want to have my hand in it now. I still think, again, I'm a little biased. I'm a Mo and Krill man. I still think Mo has a place here. I mean, if you're smart with him, you really need someone that tends to fall into the role of an IGL playing Mo and Krill. Someone that's going to be able to find the right picks, be in the right spots. Your timing has to be impeccable to make sure that your opponents don't know where you're waiting. You can get maybe a solo pick here and there, or you work with your Paradox and your Bebop, because again, with the displacement, you're bringing one of your opponents to you. If that Mo is ready and in position to be able to shut that down with combo, you've got a character locked down dead. I mean, that's an instant kill. With those combo claw into combo, it's such a fast cooldown. You can use it so much that almost right there can win you a team fight if you can get yourself a player advantage almost instantly. So I mean, if they're looking to aim for that Yamato, if they can get those picks, have your Paradox, Bebop, Mo and Krill looking for that Yamato, make sure that's not there. I mean, Vindicta as well. I mean, Mo and Krill being able to lock her down, take her out of the play so those assassinates aren't going to be a problem. There's a lot of potential for Mo and Krill. It's just, how are you going to play this Mo and Krill is the real question.
Yeah, you highlight a lot of great points about this Llama Lords roster, and I think underneath the subtext, they have a lot of great mobility, right? Like this, you know, Paradox, Wraith, Lash, Mo, and Krill, all exceptionally mobile, you know, when you compare it to the other roster on paper. Viscous is mobile, but Lady Geist, McGinnis, Vindicta, Warden, like these are not heroes that are going to be able to follow up very quickly. And that's not really their intention, I guess, in a way. Whereas for Llama Lords, they've got great range, they've got great mobility, but they really need to show us that this early game can go the same way, that they can find the same ganks. Quite honestly, they have better tools than they did last game for ganks. You've got Bebop, Krill. I mean, you said it all already. I don't need to repeat it, but they've got phenomenal early game potential here. Use it. Llama Lords, use it. Take us to that third map. Let's see a nice, juicy series. Otherwise, this like standard comp that Hydranation are going for is going to work well in the late game. Great team fight potential, great range with Vindicta. Yamato's going to go in there and do his thing. Like, this is a great mid to late team that we see from Hydranation.
Yeah, now this shouldn't be, you shouldn't be playing around this specifically, but this does give them a better advantage. If they do run into the choice to go for a mid boss at an inopportune time again, I mean, they've got the chance to lock down so many potentials here between Lash's ult. You've got Bebop's claw. You've got Krill's combo. That if the character does go in there to try to steal that rejuve, I mean, you've got that ability to lock that down. So there's a little bonus to the comp that they've picked. But yeah, I really do think their game plan right now is be a little sneaky. I mean, if Hydranation tries to go for an urn, Bebop's got some great options to just hide away on the rooftops, steal that player away. There's a lot of options to be sneaky here. If they can play their positioning right, then they might have a chance. But yeah, they really have to be careful about not making that crucial mistake again, and just doing what they did last game and holding a strong laning phase. Just don't throw it away right after into mid.
Yeah, the incident is what we'll call it. We don't want another incident.
Capital letters, the incident.
Everything that we've talked about here about this draft, I completely agree with. We're outlining the win conditions for both teams. Now, there might be some things that we miss. There might be a better early game than we're expecting out of Hydration. But, considering what we've laid out, I think everything makes sense. Some of the heroes on Hydration just take a little bit longer to get rolling. I'm particularly looking at Yamato and Warden, who need some time and some souls to really get some items in play and really become impactful. Not to say that there's not that time needed on Llama Lords, but they've got so much potential in the earlier stages of the game to utilize the weak point against Hydration, get those ganks in, get that roams in. Even if you're not pressuring a lane heavy enough, fine, just go help somebody else so that they can maybe get that W and pave the way for yourself to a great mid game.
Well, that's something that we saw with Hydranation in the game before too. The way they actually used Great Talon tended to be in that laning phase. They were using him to get a little pokes and prods into the adjacent lane. And maybe that's something that we can see from Llama Lords as well, is to try to just keep up a little bit of that extra pressure. Lash already had an incredible amount of pressure himself last time. If you can add on to that with the Great Talon, you might have a good chance to come out ahead into mid game with a bit more of an advantage when it comes to the souls than you had last time. They already had, again, that 3K soul lead until a team fight turned disastrous for them, and then the incident afterwards. But they did have a little bit of a lead at one point that they need to just make sure they stay focused on. Again, positioning for me is going to be a critical thing for them, especially if they do have the Krill playing more of kind of that jungler role.
Yeah, I would kind of hope so. In the last game, we saw a lot of Naked and Dr. Poopus doing a lot of roaming, right? It was the McGinnis ganking. It was the Lash. I mean, obviously, it's the Lash ganking. He's going up in the sky, and he's just like, who do I want, right? But that's you've got the Lash again. You've got a Krill, like you're talking about. Bebop can play in a duo lane and then just rotate left to right quickly and grab a hook and set things up for Lash or from there is so much. Your job is so much easier than it was last game to be able to get things rolling. But one of the things that Llama Lords, yes, your early game was great, and you got yourself some space. You bought some time against Hydration, But that's really the problem. They didn't really focus a lot of their efforts onto Hydration. Hydration went into a duo lane. He was protected. He had the FBI watching him. He was on witness protection. He never got touched ever. He was safe the whole time. Who was he chilling with? It was either Ivy or Great Talon. What it doesn't Viscous.
Oh, Viscous, yeah. Ivy.
He was untouchable. Nobody put it so they focused their efforts into other lanes. Nah, not this time. You guys got eyes on the prize. Hydration or Lefa if you can help it. Like,
yeah.
You don't have a choice.
So everyone knows we're just getting players in the lobby. Should be starting soon here. That's why we're looking at the profile pics of Deadlock book. Try to make a social media site with Deadlock in the name. We're gonna have to work on that one. But yeah, it was. I'm trying to think of a squad name for Hydranation's characters. What would they call themselves if they were a gang? Warden, Vindicta, Yamato. I'm not that creative. It's too late at night. I'm not gonna bring us down this right here.
Yeah, I mean, like I've only got League stuff in my head because that's the only thing that I can think of right now.
Okay, fair enough.
They do, like, you know, they do look kind of evil. You know, like Warden's a turned cop. Like he was a good cop, but now he's like a corrupt.
Yeah. Is Vindicta evil though? I mean, she just kind of wants like revenge. I think like it's kind of fair, you know.
Yeah, she does look like she's been crying a little bit. Like, you know, I say never do things out of anger. You know what I mean? So I feel like she's coming from a bad place. Yes, she's trying to, you know, get revenge, but, you know, get at least a little bit of sleep before you make that decision. You know what I mean?
And then there's Goo Guy. Just goo. Everything goo. I have to say, Viscous is one of my favorite character designs in any of like the hero shooter MOBA genre.
Yeah, you know, I would agree with that. I was thinking about Bebop. I've seen so many different hook characters, but I think
Bebop is so cool. Yeah, it kind of turns it on its head, right? You don't pull someone in to do more damage, just send them back.
Yeah. Got this like alley-oop combo. It's really sweet to watch when it happens.
Oh, especially if you alley-oop them straight into a Moe's combo. That's always my favorite. Maybe we'll see that here, but Hydranation, Llama Lords, ready to go into game number 2. Hydranation absolutely steamrolling that late game like we thought they would do. We said that comp was exactly that, and right up in the face of Yamato is this Moe and Krill immediately, and that's what you got to do. I mean, you've got that beefiness. You got that ability to get up there, keep yourself in the game too because of those heals. You know, it's a double whammy. You get to do some damage. You get to get some staying power with the heals, and try to pressure that lane as much as possible. You just don't get overly ambitious.
Yeah, looking over at our kind of lane assignments. Where's our... I'm looking out for Hydration. Okay, same thing last game, but this time, Moe and Krill gets the upper hand over Lefa. That's got to be a feel-good start for Llama Lords.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, as a Moe and Krill, I've always loved having that solo lane. Honestly, left lane too. Always been my favorite lane to hang out in. I feel like it just gives you an opportunity to start to beef up pretty quick too. You got a couple of those golden idols chilling out nearby too. You might get lucky with a little extra spirit power that works into your combos. And look at this pressure right now. Moe and Krill don't give a crap. He'll be right up at your staircase all day long.
I want to highlight something that just fell under the radar. Bebop and Paradox swapped lanes. Very, very interesting little tidbit there. Bebop now rolling with the Lash, and they are feeling good. Look how low this Wraith is, just trying to stay alive. A very unique choice. I'm kind of fascinated to see these lane swaps happen because you don't tend to see them or notice them that often.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. So in this game, you could swap right at the beginning, and you want to do it up to last second if you can, but your opponents can then react to it. So you might try to do that after maybe a first death, or just try to make that crossing between the center of the map, between lane 2 and 3 afterwards, to try to give yourself an advantage if you think that your matchup's going to be a little bit better. And right now, it seems to be that Llama Lords on the side of Amber Hand gaining that soul advantage again. We saw them do this in game number 1, Simo. The problem is that they lost it later on, but if they can get this stretch a little bit further, I'm excited to see a potential map win for them.
Yeah, another pickup, this time onto DMB playing the Lady Geist, and it's the solo lane. This is what you love to see. Like, there's really nothing can go better than a solo lane kill at this point in the game. And your dual lanes are doing quite well as well. I think the only lane is the Viscous that's doing. And again, look, another pick, the swap, the Lash going up. He wants some juice. There's a good bit of damage onto Quick, and he is out for commission. And guess what? A gank from Wraith. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, you love to see it. Wraith as well, being able to throw that card out, get so much damage on right into the tower as well. Like, you're not safe with that Wraith around. Beautiful gank there for the Wraith. And unfortunately, she'll lose her life going back to her own lane, but it's not a problem. You got to kill. It buys a lot of space for your teammates. Over on the other side, it does look like good bit of farming coming out here for a Hydranation, or sorry, Llama Lords. And I think that's the key difference maker, is that they're paying attention to make sure that they get their farm rotates down pat.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of great rotations come out from the side of Llama Lords. This is like this team has like a new life in it, you know, like you're you know, on the side of this Vindicta Viscous lane, you're like, okay, we need to do something. Like, we need to apply some pressure somewhere, because we are just getting out rotated. And speaking of pressure, McGinnis here trying to apply some as well back onto the Wraith, but you know, it's not really a gank, and it's way too early. There's no ultimates. There's nothing to really pressure at the moment.
Although, there is a lot of pressure coming out from Lady Geist at this point. Hydranation showing Llama Lords how it's done. Although, granted, Geist on the side of Llama Lords in game number 1 did a good job. They had the highest amount of player damage for their squad, so they're definitely getting involved. But Hydranation's definitely doing a much better job in the early game of this pressure.
Cube getting him out to safety. A little bit of chip damage. And listen, we got to keep our eyes on these rotations. Like, this is where the money is. I've seen Paradox go back and forth like 100 times now. Great Talon providing some additional firepower. Going to secure the kill into level. That's his 3rd death in a row, by the way. He's almost down 2k souls, by the way. His Walker is going down half HP, by the way. It's not feeling good.
You see it, Mo looking out potential for a gank over there too, but it's not going to happen, because on the other side is where the gank's going on. Lash joining in with the Wraith out on the outside. Grab themselves a kill. McGinnis going to be knocked out. And Talon, I'm understanding this pick. I like it, because you saw it. Remember with Llama Lords before? They had an issue, Simo, with some of their ganks. They just weren't going exactly the way they wanted. We saw it with McGinnis at one point too. With the Talon, it becomes a lot easier with little Birdo.
Yeah, just providing a little bit of firepower, like, and as the game continues, getting the ability to reduce that cooldown. As we've seen a little bit of an engage here between Lady Geist and Wraith. Wraith, yes, you cannot take Lady Geist. Just way too much damage. A lot of lifesteal coming out. It is way too much. Almost takes down the Wraith. Almost. But Rokane gets out of there alive. Here comes the Lash. He wants a little piece of that action. Knockup is good, but there's the life swap. Now Wraith is coming in as well. It's going to be the trade. Oh, somewhat worth it.
That was very interesting too from the Geist to stay inside. I mean, Lash flying up against the wall. You know he's coming back down. And for her to just wait it out inside was an interesting decision, in my opinion.
Bebop using that ultimate just to get a little bit of space, but the Wraith comes in to gank as well, and yeah, Warden's like, I'll sacrifice my McGinnis any day of the week, so he's out of there. As we move over towards another fight, Mo and Krill, is he gonna stay alive? No, it's gonna be Flick and the Yamato doing damage, getting him out of position and out of commission. But still, look, Lash and Paradox are coming in to try to clean up the fight. And again, there seems to be a trend of letting other players die for their sins, as Viscous just gets cleaned up and Yamato escapes. But tit for tat, the soul lead, not that far apart.
No, it really isn't. Still advantage for the Llama Lords. And especially now, they're going to be able to drop another tower. They lost one over on 3rd lane there. The McGinnis and Warden starting to push up pretty hard. He should be able to nab that one, if I'm not mistaken, and it evens things out.
Yeah, again, I think I'm noticing a trend that the only person that has not been completely touched whatsoever is Hydration again on the Warden. He's literally chilling. Everyone's going to the side lanes. He is so zoned in on farming. It's like the whole world revolves around him and nothing else is going on in his world. Like he's just like, I am the sole farmer for 15 minutes and then I'll play. Then I'll have some fun.
Yeah, he'll have fun. No one else will because they can't move.
Yeah.
Love this. McGinnis, Spectral Barrage just zoning out the lane. It buys a lot of space. Geist hunting for that kill. He knows that the Mo is in there and the Mo is low, but can't go to finish the kill. There's a good hold off from the Wraith. Uh-oh, watch out. You're getting backed up to your lane. You're gone. Mo, though, didn't manage to get out of there, but dives back in, gets a kill. You got to watch out. Still low health.
Yeah, and they're going to want to maybe try to push this Walker if they can help it. But Quig, what are you doing? Biting off a little bit more than you can chew. That's the card. It's coming through. One more card. It's not enough. They can't get the kill. McGinnis somehow escapes. Damn near close, but nevertheless, Walker will finally go down here with Lash taking it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the McGinnis got away from that. That was, I love the little surprise jump again. Mo said, all right, I'm ready to get back in the battle. Again, we talked about his staying power. It's so good. With Wraith there, double cards. Thought it'd be enough damage. It's always scary, but I guess good knowledge of your character, good knowledge of spacing. McGinnis is going to bring Geist back to try to get some revenge.
Yeah, a big thing to highlight here is, you know, kind of the unfortunate position of Precision, who is really suffering for souls. And, you know, if it was a support player, I wouldn't really care that much. But Paradox is a pretty important damage dealer. Wow, what a hook. Can you capitalize off that? Bomb goes up. Is there follow-up? Yes, there is. The Lash comes in, and they will clean that up. But yeah, Paradox needs to come online.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, too, before with Bebop. The... It's like fair hero here. Going up from the Bebop, too. The shout-outs to how fun it is to get grabbed by Bebop and planted with a bomb. It's not, let me tell you. Yamato and Lash battle. Lash says, I'm out of here. Ooh, it's not going to be enough. Yeah, you're going to be taken down there, Yamato. Nice cleanup. That lane looking pretty strong for Hydranation. They gained themselves a lead. I want to let you know, Simo, we had a soul lead for a very long time for the Llamas. And then all of a sudden it's a 5K lead, but it does drop now with the soul urn. But the lead out of nowhere comes out for Hydranation as they nab themselves a couple kills to bring them back into an advantage, actually.
Yeah, well, when you have 3 walkers working on your 4th walker and a guardian, of all things, by the way, things can feel quite good in the hands of Hydranation as we look over towards a fight here for the side of Llama Lords, trying to get a little bit of damage onto Lefa, but he is going to be able to get out of there. Viscus will fall and die for the sins of the unfortunate Lefa escape, as there might be a little bit of a reposition here towards that far lane. No one's going to be sticking around for that.
Yeah, no. A lot of this is sussing it out. You see Mo looking to support Wraith in case that becomes a team fight. They want to just try to get themselves back into it. It's a lot of farm going on, but they don't want to get too spread out that they get caught in positions. Not good. 3-on-2 over in that left lane there. And now the battle swap coming out. Paradox looking for that final kill. Geist is so low. The help there from the Lash as he hunts down Vindicta this time. Kill underneath the undercarriage here. And he can't find it. There it is. The pull. Vegas down.
Yeah, but the Geist is still alive. Geist has been waiting for the reinforcements to arrive, and you've got a 4-man roster now ready to cook up. It's Lefa with 2, still answered back finally with the Geist to fall. Lash wants a little bit more action as he's up in the air, but he's being beaten up in the sky. An answer back from Bebop, and they're able to turn it back. Llama Lords are frying him, but it's the last stand. The 1v1, the Warden, he takes him down, and Hydranation are on top.
The time for chilling is done. You said it, Warden, hanging out. A little beach party for him until he's got to clock in for work. And now is that time over the 10-minute mark, and Warden comes alive, looking for another pick too. Getting an assist, but he is the center of this battle right now.
They're just trying to hunt him down. They're spending so many resources. Lady Geist is split pushing in the other lane. Like, they are spending so much time trying to take this guy out. And again, he's on top. He's got the soul lead. He's got his priorities straight. Like, I would trust him, you know, with bringing my car back after a long vacation. Like, I would put my faith in him, you know?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. He's reliable, you know?
Right.
Pause. From Leffa. Oops, accident. Maybe some old habits. I think that was the was that the item shop in League? P?
I think I'd like rebound mine to B or something like that. Or it might actually just be B. I think I never even pressed it. I think I just clicked it when I spawned. But mid boss clicking when they spawn right now, and Bebop's like, I'm not having any of that. I do not want a repeat of the incident.
It's interesting too with the Moan Krill out in the open. Yeah, can't get that Yamato this time. So Moan Krill backs off, just looking for his opportunity while the rest of his teammates fight. Geist trying to get out of there, just makes it away from the Hyper Beam. And Bebop can't get that grab. That would have been amazing. He's locked down there because of the Vindicta. And Geist decides to hang out with little creep friends in the corner. But a bullet to the face and you're gone. Lash finds you.
This is feeling good. They're grouping up around here. Here comes the bird, trying to get a little bit of extra damage onto Vindicta. That did like nothing.
That would I would have been disappointed after I see that land.
And time to call Hogwarts. Get a different owl. You know, it's just not, this one's not working out. But
I want a refund on Hedwig.
Yeah, I want a different bird, please. And yeah, listen, you group up and you miss the moonlight. Another pick comes in for Hydranation as they find something. They're so good at finding these random picks, and I think maybe it's also just a fact of like Llama Lords overextending, trying to like claw their way through some small victory, but it's Hydranation you're up against. There's going to be no small victory.
Yeah, that's a problem for Llama Lords too. Yamato grabbing the Ridge buff there, and it was Spirit as well. I mean, it's a good one for McGinnis too. Help out your team a little bit longer, but Yamato's going to be a bit of a threat. And it look like they're diving into mid-boss now. It's Hydranation trying to pull for it. There's a early Bebop pull, trying to get as much damage as possible on everyone at mid. I don't know if they're going to be able to do much here. You got to hope this combo can work its magic. There's one pulled down, and onto the rejuve. It's going to get pulled out by Hydranation. They secure it. No steal from Llama Lord's. Big battle ensuing here, and Yamato is gonna go ham. 2 down. Not what you want, as Llama Lord's Paradox is gonna be eliminated as well, and I think the rest of the squad's gonna try to just get their butts out of there. Bebop, watch out. Yamato is dangerous, and you're dead.
Incident Part 2, Return of the King. That does not feel good for Llama Lords. One more player getting chased down. You know, I don't know if combo onto the Yamato is your best option there, because he just popped Shadow Transformation right after the combo. Nobody was there to focus on him. Not to mention, probably the most important thing about that fight is no ultimate from Bebop. He already had used it earlier in a fight to try to push them off a Walker or a Guardian or whatever. But yeah, it's just a tough, really, really tough fight. Maybe miscalls on who to prioritize and who to focus on. Because Yamato, he's got to get at a jail-free card, and Viscus can also give him one, like we're seeing right now. But they're at least trying to get some, you know, answers for their troubles, get a couple of pickups here. That's going to feel good, definitely. But
yeah,
actually, you know what? They're still in this. Look at the Souls lead. It's not that big of a deal.
No, they're really not out of this. I mean, the fact that they still have their walkers up as well. I mean, they're in a decent position on the map. They're not being pressured. They've got everyone alive at this point. If they play this right, they really have to make sure that they don't have one player get caught out, because then the next ensuing team fight is going to be problematic for you. I mean, at lower levels, you could probably get away with being a player down, but at this, you're going to want everyone in a fight if you can, especially if that soul count is even and everyone's kind of on the same page.
Yeah. Big problem here, though, is I've consistently seen the wave management not really be there for the side of Llama Lords. They're opting in for more, you know, grouping up or trying to find these picks. Like, they overextend. Well,
they're scared.
Crazy.
They don't want to get those picked out, you know?
Yeah. But that's at the cost of wave management. And that's really the discrepancy that you see in the Walkers and Guardians. Like, 2 Guardians down and all Walkers down for the side of Llama Lords. Lash in a little bit of a 1v1 against Vindicta. Should come out the better of this, but the cube comes out and he pops it right away. Lash, homie, close quarters, you're not going to get much aerial space under there. And another answer back across the map for the McGinnis.
Yeah, an interesting pick to try to take that fight in a 1v2. You're right, inside, you're not going to be able to have that mobility that you want. And being the player down, now you see it, that push that I was just talking about is going to come out real hard with that rejuve as well. There's going to be no fear for Hydranation as they get themselves involved as quick as possible. Another player going down on the side is Wraith, eliminated on Llama Lords. And Hydranation, with the rejuve all gone, are going to just go back to slow pushing in there on the Walkers, an Urn, and Simo. I gotta say it at this point, this starts to become an insurmountable climb.
Yeah, this is, you know, there was one chance at a team fight or one opportunity to try to catch somebody out of position, but, you know, also getting a little overzealous. You know, I don't want to just isolate the Lash, but, you know, trying to fight a 1v1, just try to, like, you know, bring, like this. Like, I get it. You got some potential, and you do get that pick, but okay, there's nothing really to trade out at the moment. Maybe I'm being a little overcritical here, but the point still stands that, you know, Llama Lords have overextended a lot this map, and you know, it's really their bane to try to overextend to find a pick onto Hydranation.
You know, just to give credit back to the Lash, maybe the thought decision was, hey, it's a small space. I know this Assassinate's going to be a lot harder to land, but the second the goo shuts your mobility down too, you're in trouble. That casting bridge buff is going to be pretty good for Mo, actually. I mean, I don't know what they can really do at this point. They got to get a really good pick here. But it was what I mentioned before. And whether I'm right or wrong, I'm going to say it again because it happened. You lose that solo pick, you're going to get a push from Hydranation. And that's what we saw on the Lash. The second that happened, they collapsed on those final walkers and pushed right up to base.
If Llama Lords can find a good coordination here, I think it could be and bode well for them. But it requires everyone to be there. Lash has got a huge knockup. He finds 3 in it, but there's got to be follow-up. Bebop finds the McGinnis. That's not who you want out of the fight. You want to find Hydration. You want to find DMB, but these are the players that are coming online and knocking you out. 2 players left. It's the Great Talon. It's the Wraith. They've got to run and hide for cover as they are being assassinated left and right. It's just down to our Hogwarts student, Grey Talon. Has a bird, but no team to help him.
Yeah, you can tell it all the sweet nothings you want to encourage it to do some damage, but at this point, yeah, you've got a whole squad in front of you. I mean, it's just first patron going down. Weakened, you might have a chance to hold off for the rest of this fight, but being this far down in souls is going to be hard. Good pick there on the Vindicta. Almost doesn't go down, but finally, take it out, the push out. You don't want to overextend here because you could get caught out. Yamato's still alive, but very low health. Finally eliminated. Good pull out from base from Llama Lords, and that's going to give them a little bit of space on the map.
We've got 30 seconds to do something with this. And, you know, if there was a mid-boss, I would be a little bit more excited for Llama Lords, but right now it's just going to be cleanup duty. Get your house in order.
Yeah.
Get that
Prepare
dust.
For the oncoming storm.
Yeah. Get that dust that's been under the rug for the past couple of months. Like, get everything that you need put in order because, you know, final boss is going to come knocking. And at this point, getting some souls, getting another item, you know, trying to put something else to give you something in this next fight is really all you could ask for Llama Lords.
Well, it ain't over till it's over, but it definitely feels like it might be close to over. Llama Lords have been doing a good job of keeping themselves in the fight. We have to give them credit that while there have been a couple mistakes that just you cannot make against Hydranation, overall the rest of their game has been pretty close to on par, just a little bit behind. You mentioned a couple smaller things that they can work on in the future, but yeah, not too bad of a game from them.
Yeah, I mean, last time the game was already over. Viscous down, though, as the Rejuvenator is up. This is huge, a massive fight. They got to get a combo onto somebody like this, somebody like Hydranation, because he is popping up. Bebop finds Leffa. This is huge. 2 players down. They're trying to take this man. They're chasing him down. They'll take the Vindicta instead. The McGinnis is out. Llama Lords find the picks that they need, but do they need to find more? They're continuing the chase. They want to get everybody. They don't want to get this Rejuvenator and you know, for it to be all for naught. But now, this is the moment. Do Hydranation answer back? The answer might be yes, but he's just going to go for the base instead.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, base race it. Why not? You got that patron down to weakened state. See how much you can do. Can you pull someone away from the Rejuvenator? That's what you want to do right now. Complete the distraction. They finally do get a Rejuvenator, sorry, for Llama Lords, but you got to get back to base as fast as possible.
Oh my God, he's just soloing this thing. They got to stop him. What a call from Hydranation. He's just in the pit. Finally, he goes down. Vegas answers back with another pick of his own. They've got the Rejuvenator. They have to chase now. Viscous and Vindicta are here. They can maybe try to continue this chase, continue to get a pick, continue to capitalize on the Rejuvenator. But Leaf, look how low this patron is. They could just come back for seconds.
I know. This is the thing, is you want to chase. You want to start to push back, gain map control, and make sure that you're utilizing this Rejuvenator as well as possible. But you need to make sure you're not about to get backdoored and lose this patron. I mean, it's such a delicate balance to hold, and we have seen Llama Lords make those small mistakes that could create the opening. I mean, Hydranation is going to be looking for those openings.
Oof. 25 minutes in. Final boss. Hydration is back up. This was a really great fight around the Rejuvenator. The problem is now, Leaf, there's not really like the playing grounds for an objective for them to fight over now at this point. The Rejuvenator is going to be down for a long time. And if they spread themselves too thin, guess who's going to come and walk right into the base? Because there's nothing there. There's not a single turret in sight. There's nothing. They can just walk in, and they got to find picks like this to try to stay in the game.
You got to watch out, though. Once you get into a team fight like this, it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to forget where you are and have someone go in backdoor you. But they need to get these walkers. They have to push up a little bit further. In the battle, they got one pick down. Vindicta is eliminated. That's going to give them a bit of an advantage, but 2 players down now. And that's going to be problematic for Llama Lords. Paradox is going to follow suit right after with Lash too. They have Rejuvenator, but I wonder if the push is going to come out real strong here from Hydranation. Simo, not the battle that Llama Lords were looking for.
So close and yet so far. That was a little bit of a, you know, a tougher call from the side of Llama Lords, trying to push up that wave, trying to push up Broadway, but you know, it just was enough. Here we're using an ult defensively, and it's gonna hit no one.
Hey, I mean, that works. You needed to buy space. You still had 2 teammates down. You were still in a problematic spot that if Hydranation wanted to push, they absolutely could have pushed. And that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to just suss out whether they had that space to move in. It also, again, brings down that ult. It'll probably recharge in time for the next battle anyways, but it is down if they do choose to engage at this Solern.
Let's go purple.
This is an objective that we were hoping, you know, would bring the team together. That's really the kind of ideal scenario. And they really don't want the Soul Urn to go to the way of Hydranation. So you see a lot of contesting. Yamato is about to teleport off from one side of the map to the other to join this fight, but is he even going to be needed? Yes, he will, as Young Calc and Dr. Poopas find 2 picks of their own. Quick answer back from Lefa as the fight continues. Shadow Transformation being popped here to try to get into the fray, but your whole team's kind of already starting to fall apart. You are able to find an answer back at least, but are you going to need to back away from this? A 3v3 or a 4v3 rather. A 4v2 is where we stand, and he lost a lot of important players on the side of Hydranation. This could be huge.
No, this is absolutely massive too. Again, you need to finish off the rest of those objectives. I mean, you look at that backside too. Yamato trying to suss out base maybe? No, just keeping that side pushed up as much as possible while she waits for teammates to get back in this. Yeah, that's a smart play. And again, forcing these battles. I mean, pulling out Solern, see if they can force another battle once the respawn happens. Keep them away from that last walker. I mean, it's actually crazy to think that at this point, we almost have Patron down for Llama Lords, while there are still so many objectives left alive on the other side for Hydranation.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Tough call for Llama Lords. You know, we've been incredibly critical of them, but credit where credit is due. They've stayed quite some time alive in this. They've been fighting, that's right. And they are about to fight again, I think, for this urn. They want to continue to contest, continue to bring the fight, because they've won the past, like, 2 fights.
Yeah.
That's massive. Look at the goal. Look at the soul lead. It's dead even now.
The problem, though, is that they are being forced into these fights. They're being baited out. The map control right now is in the favor of Hydranation Simo.
Yeah, look at that combo from the Paradox, pulling the Vindicta in, then getting the combo, like you said. But now that's really the ticket that opens up the fight. Vindicta's not really needed to get the fight rolling, because you can see the rest of Hydranation, Quick, DB, and Lefa are popping on the feed, and they will continue the chase. It's just down to the Mo and Krill, who's just trying to get out of there alive. They focused all their efforts on Vindicta, and it was all for naught.
That is where you can call a GG. With the entire team down, still 30 seconds on the fastest respawn. Patron's gonna go down real fast here. And second map, Hydranation is going to be able to shut them down. Llama Lord's doing a good job of holding them off, but I really do, again, have to say, it was Hydranation that controlled the pacing of that almost the entire time. Even when Llama Lords were in the fight, you saw that every single time there was a team fight, it was Hydranation that was choosing to do something on the map that forced the hand of Llama Lords. They couldn't go and push those final objectives again. They couldn't get control of their lanes because Solern's being run all of a sudden. Or a pick just happened over here. Now we have to retreat a little bit. It was in the control of Hydranation for the most part. But again, kudos to a decent battle from Llama Lords.
Yeah. Kudos is definitely needed and appreciated here for the side of Llama Lords. They took that game, you know, pretty much 10 minutes longer or 8 minutes longer than that first game. You know, big highlight in that last fight. Listen, I'm not going to be, you know, a stickler for picking your targets. I understand the need to want to get Vindicta out of there in that last team fight. It can be annoying, but you used Paradoxical Swap and combo. You know, on the Vindicta, you got what you wanted, but then, you know, so many other great damage dealers on the side of Hydration, the DMB on the Lady Geist, Hydration obviously on the Warden, who managed to go most of the game unscathed. Like, how many times did he die there?
It's hard because you're using so much of your utility when you're doing that, the swap into a combo on one person. You know, I always wonder why. I mean, it's an expensive item, but why you don't go Phantom Strike, have that Mo focus on Vindicta, then you just got one character using utility on one character to shut them down. Gets them out of the play for a little bit while you can use that swap on someone else. I mean, obviously these guys know what they're doing a little more than me, but it does feel like, yeah, you're using a lot of util for one person. But to be fair, Vindicta does have the ability to take multiple players out of the play very, very quickly. So shutting that down does feel like a semi-priority in general, and that's why you see Vindicta get banned so often.
Yeah, but maybe back off after that. Maybe try to find, you know, a little bit more room, like attack and retreat. You know, I agree with you though. Like utility is I wouldn't say it's completely useless on Leffa on the Yamato, but you know, with shadow transformation up, it's like, then what, right? Like you're going to be wasting some of your utility. You got to lock him down for forever to make sure that he is dead by the time, you know, he can even have a chance to use that shadow transformation. So I get it. You're picking up, and you know, of course, DMB also has a get out of jail free card, Soul Exchange right after, you know, a heavy engage like that. So, you know, I think Llama Lords did what they thought was best. And, you know, quite frankly, they even had more tools than the Paradoxal Swap in the combo. They also had Lash, who's got a lot of great utility. It just, you know, wasn't in the cards. But what I will say is that this second map is going to be so great for VOD review. They can go back and they can, because they had a lot of great moments that I think should be highlighted. They almost took down Hydranation in this second map. Almost. Very close.
I mean, to be fair though, if I'm looking at the VOD, I'm not looking at the good moments. What I'm looking at is what were those small mistakes, like we mentioned, you know, potentially that Lash being taken out that allowed that push up. Obviously we know the incident. It's like I would be going back and saying what allowed that quick precision strike from Hydranation? What was the moment they were looking for? Because obviously Hydranation is reacting to mistakes, but they are also ready, and that's what allows them to be so quick on making those decisions. They can see those potential problems arising from Llama Lords early, that they can set themselves up in a position that they can capitalize on it very quickly. And I think that's what I'm looking out for. If I'm Llama Lords, I'm saying, what were the giveaways, what were the tells that allowed them to take advantage of us? What allowed them to suddenly almost have a Warden solo your patron at the end? It's like, what are those small mistakes? And that's what I'm looking for. But you're absolutely right that this is a very valuable VOD for them to be looking at, because it was so close with only those small things that were capitalized on. Shut those down, you have a very close series.
Yeah, you know, compared to that first match, one major mistake was really, you know, what put the nail in the coffin. But this time around, like, you know, I was thinking this game was going to be over much sooner than it was. The fact that Llama Lords held on, I think, is a great testament to their ability to play as a team, to play around the objectives, because Hydranation at this point in Deadlock's career are pretty seasoned veterans.
Oh yeah.
You know, in their ability to have this hold over North America. Like, you know, if I'm an org looking to sign a team, I'm probably signing Hydranation first, because
of course,
this team is doing so well. So the fact that Llama Lords were able to even, you know, keep the Mongols at bay and stay alive, like, was a phenomenal feat, I think, for them. And there's a lot that can be gleaned from, you know, like you said, the mistakes, but also the victories. Like, what did work against Hydranation? We can always use that again.
Yeah, no, I mean, overall, again, Llama Lords, keep fighting, keep doing this. I mean, I think that was, at least in recent times, their record for length of match against Hydranation. Oftentimes they're getting dropped out a little bit sooner. So they broke the 30-minute mark, which is something to look forward to. I mean, you held off a lot longer than you have before, but it definitely is going to be looking at those things, fix that up, come at it time and time again. Eventually, you're going to find a roster, you're going to find a team comp, and you're going to find those skills and those patterns that you need to be able to eventually overcome a team like Hydranation. Might be a little bit more time, but you'll eventually get there, especially with events like this going on. I want to remind people tomorrow to join for the continuation, the rest of this tournament, same time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, if you'd like to join back for this. Simo, I got to say thanks for joining me. This was really fun.
Yeah, I had a blast. It was awesome to get into the booth with you. And, you know, despite it being a 2-0, that second map was some good, that Deadlock.
It definitely was. And again, shout out to the production and to TOs for bringing us on and letting us enjoy some competitive Deadlock. And thank you guys for joining us as well to enjoy it again tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, for the continuation of First Strike. We'll see you then.